Welcome to another edition of the Go Noles podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me, in my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. Bi-week podcast here. It's nice to enjoy your rival's misery, but I'm just going to say me as a fan, I don't try to think that just because Duke beat Miami really bad, that we're going to beat Miami really bad. Every team, or I should say, each opponent that a team plays, they take on a different mentality. With the exception of your elite programs. You know, your elite programs, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, they just go out and ball. They don't care who the opponent is. They're going to try to dominate whoever they play. But, for the other programs, it's just like Miami will have a different level of focus when they play Florida State. So I don't look at what Duke did to them and say, hey, we're going to do the same thing to Miami. That's just not a good way of thinking as a fan. Like, you know that it's a rivalry game. There's going to be a different level of focus, a different level of emotion. It's just going to be a different game. Most of these games, the last several years, have come down to a final play, with the exception, I think, like a couple years ago, Miami blew us out. Just looking at it this year, it's probably going to be a close game. But I'm kind of skipping Georgia Tech, and I don't mean to, but I'm just, I'm on social media and I'm listening to some of these people in this fan base, and they're just like, we're going to kill Miami. Well, you got to get past Georgia Tech first. Before you get to Miami, you're just putting Georgia Tech in the win column, and, how Georgia Tech played against Virginia is probably not how they're going to play against us. Florida State this year and just the last several years have a way of making a inferior opponent look good. So I don't put anything in the win column, and just some of the people in this fan base think we're going 5-0 the rest of the way. I don't know. It's possible. I thought we had I think with the talent that we have this year, we could have beat anybody on this schedule. If we come in, razor sharp, locked in, just play to our maximum ability. But I don't think we've done that. I think maybe the Boston College game we played pretty good. We played up to, what we're capable of, but for most of this season, we haven't. And I think that goes to coaching too. I don't think our coaching has been at maximum capacity either. I like what Syracuse did against Clemson. I think the referees gave the game to Clemson. A couple of no calls, a couple of BS calls, but I don't feel sorry for Syracuse. They had numerous chances to put that game away. They just couldn't do it. So Clemson escapes, and hey man, I can't be mad about that. The game was there for Syracuse to take. They couldn't do it. So it is what it is. But for our team, with 2 weeks to prepare for Georgia Tech, I don't think I would really have a serious problem with Mike Norvell if he loses this game. with 2 weeks to prepare for this opponent. I wouldn't call for his job, but he would definitely be on the hot seat. You cannot lose this game. You cannot lose this game. You have to win this game. I don't care if it's by 1 point. You have to win this game. You don't have to dominate. You don't have to look good. I don't care how you win this game. You have to win this game by any means necessary within the rules. Okay? That's the sense of urgency that the players and the coaches have to have. This is a must-win game. I think most of the fan base is giving this team a pass because we arguably played, the 3 best teams in the conference back to back to back. Okay? And we for the most part, we played okay. But you can't lose to Georgia Tech, not after what I saw against Virginia. Now, I know one game doesn't translate to the next game, but I feel like we're a better team. I'm not going to say we're better coach, but I think we got better players. I think offensively, Mike Norvell can draw up some stuff. Defensively, we're a work in progress, but from what I'm hearing, we're getting Fabian Lovett back, arguably our best defensive player. So, this has to be a win. It's pretty much non-negotiable. I don't think you can realistically look this fan base in the eye and say anything if you don't win this game. There's no excuse you can come up with, to me, that would legitimize a loss. You can't come out in the post-game press conference making excuses. You have to win this game. And I think, like I said earlier, Florida State has this thing where they play down to the competition. I'm just looking for very crisp play offensively, defensively, and special teams. We're 4-3. You can't go back and change what has already happened. I'm not going to dwell on previous games. I'm focused on, just being a supportive fan over these last 5 games and just hoping that the coaching staff and the players can, get it together. I think worst case scenario, you go 3-2. But after watching Syracuse, we played Clemson pretty good. We just made bonehead mistakes. They played Clemson pretty good, but they just made bonehead mistakes. So, I don't know what to say about Syracuse just yet. I don't know if they're like a for real team because let's be honest, they've had like they were 6-0, but they had a really soft schedule. I'm not ready to put anybody in the win column. Not with this team. I'm just not, because like I said, it's a combination of, coaching and players that contribute to any win or loss. But I think more so it's that combination that usually it's mostly one of the other. I think it's 50-50 is what I'm trying to say. I don't think we make good adjustments defensively fast enough in games. Offensively, I think Norvell will try to force his game plan instead of adapting to what the defense is doing. I would have liked to have seen Jordan Travis be more of a runner, or I wouldn't say more of a runner, maybe the same amount of running as he's done in previous years. I think his legs could have helped us in a lot of those losses. As you seen, he, you know, just took off against Clemson and juked that guy and just broke his ankles and boom, touchdown. So I would have liked to have seen more of that. But, you know, you can't go, like I said earlier, you can't go back and change history, and I'm not going to focus on, I'm saying that because going forward, I want them to do more of that type of stuff in these next 5 games. I'm not trying to have revisionist history with the losses, but I think the goal here is to win games, not to try to make Jordan Travis look like an elite quarterback. The goal here is to win games. And in the process, if Jordan Travis gets to look like an elite quarterback, so be it. But the name of the game here is to win games. And I don't know. I don't know what kind of team we're going to get next Saturday or this coming Saturday. I just don't know. Because I thought, you look at LSU now, they're 5-2. They beat the hell out of Ole Miss. And we dominated LSU in the trenches. We dominated them. We dominated that game, but we almost gave it back to them. So I was just like, I said to myself after that game, I was like, well, dang, man, like, if we come out and play like that, we going to be all right. And then we was 4-0, and you got players going on social. I think we're the best this, the best that. And you got humbled 3 weeks in a row. So now you've had to eat a lot of humble pie. And I just hope that, we can get back on the right side of things these last 5 games and try to get to a bowl game and try to right this ship. I think, we got some guys coming. But I mean, I think skill position wise, we're good. I think DB, linebacker, we're good. We need defensive linemen. We need offensive linemen if we're going to compete in today's game. That's the name of the game in college football. Offensive line, defensive line. When you see Bryce Young having like all day to throw the football, that's the sign of a good offensive line. When you see the quarterback from Georgia have like all day to throw the football, that's a sign of a great offensive line. So I mean, for us to get back to where we were several years ago, that's what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to improve on the defensive lines. Many episodes ago, I said, are you ready to play big boy football or you still want to be cheap? And, we're still straddling that line, big boy football or be cheap. And, today's football is an investment. From the fans to the boosters to the university, the players, the coaches, it's an investment. It's no longer you can just get the top guys coming out of high school based on tradition. You got to have a bag. So some of your bigger schools, they'll have $20 million, $30 million to quote unquote get players. And we know this stuff happens. So, I'm not going to live in some kind of fantasy world and think that, hey, this school does it the right way. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So, and I don't really think it's cheating. I think these players should legitimately, legally get paid. I don't if a kid is going out there risking his well-being for a game and the university is profiting off of that, I think the player should get some of that money. If his name, image, likeness, fine. But I say all of that to say that Florida State needs to get better players, like fast. I mean, I give Mike Norvell credit for flipping this roster. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I think he's done a tremendous job with this roster. Okay? But I also feel like his game day coaching is not up to par. Like, I hate to use this example, but I'll do it anyway. I feel like offensively, Florida State is very similar to San Francisco in terms of the weapons that they have. The difference is Kyle Shanahan, he will make an adjustment like on the next drive. If not within the same drive. Okay, you want to keep blitzing this guy? I'm gonna dump it off to Debo. You want to keep doing this play? Okay, I'm gonna dump it off to Jusic. Okay, you want to keep doing this? I'm gonna run a screen to Mitchell. So, and Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds in the league. So maybe it's unfair to compare Norvell to him, but Norvell has been fancied as a offensive guru, and most offensive gurus can make those kind of adjustments, but he doesn't. He will keep running. Like how many times did he run the read option draw play, or dive play, I should say, on NC State? And, you were not getting, that play was not hitting. But you just kept running it. So, football is a game of adjustments. We all know that. And you have to be able to make those adjustments like in seconds. And I just don't think offensively or defensively we make those adjustments fast enough. I think, some of the stuff that teams has done against us this season, we don't adjust quick enough. And that's really something that we're going to have to improve on if this team is going to get back to, the days of, winning ACC championships and getting into the playoff. Left tackle and center is a problem. I hope that they're looking at those positions during the bye week, or I hope they looked at it during the bye week, and then I hope they're looking at it during game week. But nothing really scares me about Georgia Tech. But again, people for some reason play their best game against Florida State. No matter who the opponent is in the ACC, they seem to play their best against Florida State. So, I really don't know what to make of these last 5 games. Like I said, I think if you can go 3-2, I would consider that a success. If you can go 4-1, that would be better. I think the dream is 5-0. I don't see 5-0. I think Syracuse is very good. They always play us tight. We beat them last season. Garrett Schrader is a problem. Gadsden is a problem. Their running back, number 34, is a problem. So it's going to be kind of hard to stop them. They have a very good defense. They're well coached. And they make adjustments very well. I think a combination of, like I said earlier, mistakes and refereeing, derailed a potential win against Clemson. So they're going to be a hard team to beat. Miami's going to get up to play us. The Florida Gators are going to get up to play us. So I think 5-0 is going to be a little hard. I think you can beat Georgia Tech. I think you can beat Louisiana. And, I'll say out of those other 3 games, maybe Miami. But like I said, if Miami is ever going to be focused, if Miami's ever going to get hyped to play a game, it's going to be us. You know this. So I just coming out of this bye week and game week, coming into this game on Saturday, is going to be very interesting to see, has Norvell cooked up anything special offensively, or we're just going to see the same running plays, the same pass plays. I would like to see more read option with Jordan Travis. Like I said, the name of the game is winning games. In the process, if you can improve players' draft status, great. But at the end of the day, you're trying to win games. Okay? You're not trying to feature a player. You're trying to win games. So, that's really what I'm hoping for. Very, like I said earlier, very crisp defensive play, very crisp offensive play. And, when you get down close enough for the kicker to kick, let him kick. Quit going for it on 4th down all the time. You're just taking unnecessary risk. At some point, you got to trust your kicker. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. But if it's 4th and inches, go for it. If it's anything 4th and 1 or more, I would kick the field goal. So, maybe, just maybe, we can get locked in these last 5 games. I think when people start their Facebook groups about Florida State football, and somebody like me joins your group, and I'm critical of the team. Why are you so offended by that? I've been kicked out of 3 Florida State football Facebook groups because I was critical of a team that I'm a fan of. And I keep all my criticisms about football. I don't attack any of these people, coaches or players personally, because I don't know them personally. I don't make remarks about their character or their intelligence, like if it doesn't relate to football. I'll say Mike Norvell made a stupid decision about whatever, or Jordan Travis made a dumb throw. I'm not calling him stupid in overall intelligence. I'm just saying in that moment, he made a dumb throw. And most mature adults can understand the difference, but you have these moderators that be in these, and I don't really care about Facebook groups because I really didn't join a lot of those groups until like this year, just to just to get some sort of, I don't know, interaction or feeling about how this fan base is. And it's just very soft. And I'm not going to say the whole fan base, just some of the people that I've interacted with on social media. If you say, like the read option dive play that Mike Norvell likes to run. I said in a group, I said that play wasn't working. Why are you continuously running it? Because you're getting less than a yard on that play when this was against NC State. And somebody came back at me, well, why don't you go coach the team? Like, how, I mean, are we operating in the realm of reality? Now, I can't tell someone how to respond, but if we're gonna operate in the realm of reality, I think a better response would have been, what play would you have called? Or what play do you think would have worked? Not that I even had an answer for that, but just telling me to go coach the team, like, it's crazy. So, and I guess every fan base is like that, where there's a lot of, I don't know, infighting. I don't really consider myself, one of those people. But I just think that if you're going to start a group on Facebook and you're going to try to censor what people say, now, I mean, any inappropriate stuff, like just anything that's inappropriate, name calling, making personal remarks about coaches and players, whatever. But as long as you're being sensible and you're keeping it within the lines, I should be able to say that we made a dumb play. But it's whatever. I mean, I started my podcast, just as like a therapy, because we sucked at the time. This was December 2019. I just felt like I needed to talk to myself, really. But I just put it out. I didn't really think that I would gain the small little following that I have, but and I've actually turned off the comments on YouTube, but somehow, somebody found my email address. I guess you can find people's email. And then people send me emails from time to time. Sometimes they give me good, I guess, reviews, if you want to call it. Sometimes people say I suck. I don't care, bro. Like, anytime anybody listens to me talk about Florida State, I consider that a win. So, this fan base overall is a good one, because I've been to Doak Campbell Stadium. It's been a while, but I've been there many times. It's been a long time. But I think overall it's a good fan base. I think all fan bases have that one corner where nothing you say is, about your team is going to be viewed in a positive light, just because they just have their way of viewing the team and only their vantage point is right. Nobody else's vantage point is correct. So, I mean, you just have to accept who they are and how they think. So, at the end of the day, I think the main goal is that we want Florida State to be successful. I think 5-0 down the stretch is going to be a tall ask for this team. I think this coaching staff, defensively, I really don't have a lot of faith in this coaching staff defensively. I'm not calling for anybody's job or anything like that. I'm just stating my opinion, but I hope that in every aspect of the game we can, put our best, strategy plan forward and, come out here and just win the game. I don't, ESPN has us as a 20-point favorite. I don't care about that. I don't care about 88% win, whatever they call it, 88% chance of winning the game. You still got to go out there and play the game, and you can't take these guys lightly. I'm pretty sure that they're going to come and, try to play their best game against us, and we have to be prepared for that. Duke embarrassed Miami, but that doesn't translate to them playing us. So, and I say all of that because I know that these players, they look at social media, they might not comment, but I know they look at it, they're human. And I think the fan base, when they set unrealistic expectations, that sometimes these players might fall victim to, some of the propaganda that's out there. I just want to finish better than last year. I want to get better on the offensive and defensive lines. That's where I'm at with it. That's pretty much where I'm at with it. That if we're ever going to get back to our winning ways and competing for ACC championships and national championships, you're going to have to get better on the offensive and defensive lines. I mean, that's the foundational thing of football. And, I've been saying that for this whole year, really. And, like I said earlier in this podcast and many podcasts before this season, the way that we played against LSU, I thought we were going to be special. But, injuries and things of that nature has kind of derailed that. I still think you have an opportunity to be special this season. But we need better offensive and defensive line play. I think you need to think about center and left tackle as far as, experiment with some other guys. I feel like Darius Washington's best game as a Seminole this season has been in the interior at center. And, there has to be, Robert Scott can't be the best tackle on this roster. And no disrespect to any player, I'm just calling it like I see it. So, that concludes this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's available on YouTube. It's available on all podcast platforms. I appreciate the support. Thank you for listening. And as always, go Noles.